Imagine losing everything you have today. Your house, your car, your savings, all gone in an instant. That's exactly what happened to Zeno, a wealthy merchant who saw his entire fortune sink into the Mediterranean Sea. But this disaster became the birth of one of the most powerful philosophies ever created, Stoicism. Today, I'm going to reveal how this ancient wisdom can completely revolutionize your relationship with money. From Rome's richest emperor to a former slave, Stoicism has proven to be the key to true financial freedom, regardless of the size of your bank account. If you're tired of feeling anxious about money, wondering if you're making the right decisions, or feeling like a prisoner of your own financial success, this video will completely change your perspective. I'm going to share age-old secrets that can transform not just your wallet, but your entire life. And before we go any further, don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel. After all, just as the Stoics teach us about the importance of building good habits, how about starting right now by making a habit of supporting content that can transform your life? Also, activate the bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos on personal development and finance. Get ready for a fascinating journey through the ancient wisdom that is changing the lives of millions of people in the modern world. Let's discover together how Stoicism can revolutionize your mindset about money and success. Let's get started. The power of loss. Imagine losing absolutely everything you've built up over the course of a lifetime. This is exactly what happened to Zeno, a prosperous merchant who sailed the Mediterranean Sea carrying fabrics dyed with the most precious purple pigment of antiquity. In a single day, a violent storm engulfed his ship, his fortune and all his material dreams. In that devastating moment, Zeno could have chosen the most common path, to give in to despair, bitterness and resentment towards the gods. Instead, he found himself wandering the streets of Athens, a city that breathed philosophy and wisdom. Then, by chance or fate, his steps led him to a small bookshop. Inside that humble establishment, Zeno discovered something far more valuable than all the goods he had lost at sea. He found the writings of the great philosophers, especially the teachings of Socrates. There he began to understand that true wealth did not lie in material possessions, but in the ability to maintain serenity in the face of the greatest adversity. This revelation completely transformed his worldview. Zeno realized that the universe operates unpredictably and that we have no control over external events. However, he discovered that we have complete control over our response to these events. This understanding became the cornerstone of what would come to be known as Stoicism. Stoicism teaches that material losses, however painful, can be portals to extraordinary discoveries about ourselves. When we lose something we consider essential, we are forced to question what truly matters in our lives. It is in these moments of apparent defeat that we can find our greatest strength. Zeno's story shows us that sometimes we need to lose everything in order to gain something much more valuable. His philosophy has influenced some of the most brilliant minds in history, from Roman emperors like Marcus Aurelius to slaves like Epictetus. They all understood that true wealth lies in the ability to maintain inner peace, regardless of external circumstances. Today, more than ever, this ancient wisdom resonates strongly in our modern world. At a time when so many people define their worth by the size of their bank account or the number of followers on social media, Stoicism reminds us that the true measure of a person is not in what they own, but in how they respond to life's challenges. The most profound lesson we can draw from Zeno's story is that every loss carries with it the seed of an opportunity for growth. When we face financial setbacks, relationship problems, or professional failures, we can choose to see these experiences not as tragic endings, but as transformative beginnings. Stoicism presents us with one of the most intriguing contradictions about money and happiness through two of its greatest masters, Marcus Aurelius, Rome's most powerful emperor, and Epictetus, a former slave who lived in poverty. Although separated by a social and financial chasm, both came to the same conclusions about the true nature of wealth and freedom. Marcus Aurelius, with all his power and wealth, wrote in his diaries about how material possessions often became a burden. In his gilded chambers, he reflected on simplicity and the importance of staying true to one's values, regardless of the privileges his position granted him. Even though he was the richest man in the known world, he understood that his true wealth lay in his ability to maintain serenity and wisdom. On the other hand, Epictetus, born into slavery and later freed, proved that true freedom is a state of mind. Even with extremely limited resources, he developed one of the most brilliant minds in ancient philosophy, demonstrating that inner wealth does not depend on one's bank account. What makes this perspective even more relevant today is observing how many modern millionaires and billionaires become slaves to their own success. They live in constant anxiety, fearful of losing what they have achieved, always chasing more, trapped in an endless cycle of accumulation that never brings true satisfaction. This is the great irony that Stoicism reveals. The more we cling to material wealth, the less free we become. High-ranking executives sacrifice their health, relationships, and peace of mind in pursuit of more money, only to discover that each new financial achievement brings with it new worries and responsibilities. The real power of money, according to the Stoics, lies not in how much you have, but in how you relate to it. Real financial freedom is not about having millions in your account, but about developing the ability to live well, regardless of material circumstances. It's about building a healthy relationship with money, where it serves as a tool for a better life, not as the goal of life itself. This ancient wisdom teaches us that true wealth lies in the ability to find contentment regardless of external circumstances. It is possible to be materially rich and spiritually poor, just as it is possible to have limited resources and possess extraordinary inner wealth. The secret lies in understanding that money is like water, necessary for life, but dangerous when in excess. Just as a glass of water can quench our thirst or drown us, depending on how we use it, material wealth can be both a tool for liberation and a golden prison. Stoic philosophy presents us with 4 fundamental virtues which, when applied to our financial lives, can completely transform our relationship with money. These virtues are not just abstract concepts, but practical tools that help us navigate the complex world of personal finance. Courage, the first of these virtues, manifests itself in the ability to take calculated risks when necessary. It's not about acting impulsively or betting everything you have, but about having the inner strength to follow your principles even when the market is panicking. It is courage that allows us to invest when others are fearful and to stick to our strategy, even in times of turbulence. Self-discipline, the second pillar, is possibly the most tangible virtue when it comes to finance. It allows us to resist the temptations of immediate consumerism and maintain a consistent investment plan. This virtue manifests itself in the ability to live below your means, to save regularly, and to make conscious financial choices, even when everyone around you is giving in to consumerist impulses. Justice, the third element of this framework, guides us in ethical decisions involving money. It's not just about following the law, but about doing the right thing, even when no one is looking. It's about paying fair prices, honoring financial commitments, and considering the impact of our financial decisions on other people and on society as a whole. Wisdom, the fourth pillar, helps us understand that money is just a means, not an end in itself. It allows us to distinguish between value and price, between real and apparent wealth. Financial wisdom teaches us that having more doesn't always mean living better, and that some of the most valuable things in life can't be bought. These four virtues work together, creating a system of checks and balances in our financial lives. For example, while courage pushes us to invest, wisdom helps us not to be reckless. While self-discipline makes us save, justice reminds us to be generous when appropriate. In practice, these pillars help us develop a healthier relationship with money. They enable us to make financial decisions that are not only profitable, but also in line with our deepest values. It's a delicate balance between prospering financially and maintaining our moral integrity. The real power of these four pillars lies in their daily application. They are not just concepts to be studied, but virtues to be lived and practiced constantly. When we internalize these virtues, our financial decisions cease to be purely mathematical and begin to reflect a deeper and more lasting wisdom. Finally, these virtues remind us that our relationship with money is a reflection of who we are as people. It's not just about accumulating wealth, but about using financial resources in a way that allows us to live a meaningful life and make a positive difference in the world. Many of us live under the illusion that more money automatically means more freedom. However, reality shows us something surprising. The more financial success we achieve, the less control we seem to have over our time and choices. It's a paradox that especially affects those who achieve high levels of material wealth. Stoicism presents us with a revolutionary perspective on this issue. Instead of seeking to control external circumstances, such as the size of our bank account, we should focus on what is really under our control: our reactions, choices, and core values. When we observe top executives sacrificing their health, relationships, and peace of mind in pursuit of more money, we realize that they have become prisoners of their own success. Each new financial achievement brings with it new responsibilities, worries, and demands that consume even more of their time and energy. True freedom, according to Stoic teachings, is not about having more money, but about developing the ability to maintain our autonomy regardless of our financial situation. It's about building an inner fortitude that allows us to navigate both abundance and scarcity without losing our essence. This philosophy teaches us that we can find peace and satisfaction in any circumstance, as long as we maintain control over our emotional responses and decisions. It's not money that imprisons or frees us, but our relationship with it. The secret lies in using money as a tool for living better, not as the ultimate goal in life. When we reverse this order, we become slaves to something that should only be a means to nobler ends. Ultimately, true financial liberation is not about how much money you have, but about your ability to maintain your integrity, values, and autonomy regardless of your financial situation. It's about building a healthy relationship with money, where it serves your higher purposes rather than you serving it. Financial discipline doesn't have to be a daily battle against our own will. The Stoics teach us that true wisdom lies in creating systems that make good decisions automatic, removing the need to make conscious choices all the time. When we set up automatic savings and investment systems, we create a structure that works in our favor, regardless of our daily willpower. It's like creating an autopilot for our finances, which keeps working even when we're tired, stressed, or distracted. Think of it like a well-designed factory. Once the processes are established, production keeps flowing without the need for constant supervision. In the same way, when we automate our finances, money flows naturally to where it should go, whether that's into savings, investments, or to cover essential expenses. This approach removes the emotional weight from everyday financial decisions. Instead of asking ourselves every day whether or not we should save, the system does it for us. It's like having an internal financial guardian who works around the clock, protecting our long-term interests. The beauty of this strategy is that it frees us up to focus on more important things. When our finances are running on autopilot, we can devote our mental energy to personal growth, relationships, and the search for purpose, aspects that the Stoics considered fundamental to a well-lived life. Automation also protects us from ourselves. As human beings, we are prone to impulses and emotions that can damage our financial health. By creating automatic systems, we build a protective barrier against impulsive and emotional decisions. Ultimately, this approach helps us to build wealth, sustainably and consistently. It's not about grand gestures or heroic decisions, but about small, consistent actions that over time create extraordinary results. It is living proof of the Stoic principle that real change comes through consistent, well-planned action. The automation of financial virtue is therefore one of the most practical ways of applying Stoic wisdom to our modern lives. It is the bridge between ancient philosophy and contemporary financial management needs. The relationship factor. Relationships are like anchors that hold us steady during storms and financial booms. This truth, so dear to the Stoics, becomes even more relevant in today's world, where financial decisions can be made at the touch of a cell phone screen. When we establish deep bonds with people who really care about our well-being, we create a natural system of protection against impulsive decisions. These are the people who will ask us, "Are you sure about this?" when we're about to make a risky investment, or who will help us keep our feet on the ground when success starts to rear its ugly head. During times of financial prosperity, these relationships help us maintain humility and perspective. They remind us that a person's value lies not in their bank account, but in their character and the quality of their relationships. It is these people who prevent us from becoming prisoners of our own success. In times of difficulty, when we face financial losses or setbacks, it is these same relationships that provide us with the emotional support we need to move on. They help us to see that financial failures don't define who we are and that it's always possible to start again. Marriage, for example, as mentioned in the conversation with Ryan Holiday, can be a powerful stabilizing force. Having someone waiting for you at home not only influences your financial decisions, but also establishes a natural system of accountability. You start to think not just about yourself, but about how your choices affect other people. True relationships also help us maintain a work-life balance. When we're alone, it's easy to fall into the trap of working endlessly in search of more money. But when we have important people in our lives, we are naturally reminded that there are things more valuable than money. Finally, strong relationships give us something that no amount of money can buy, a sense of belonging and meaning. They help us remember that at the end of the day, it's not the size of our bank account that matters, but the impact we've had on the lives of the people we love. Cultivating and maintaining these relationships requires time, energy, and sometimes even financial sacrifice. But as the Stoics teach us, this is one of the wisest investments we can make on our journey to a truly rich and meaningful life. The true test of our financial decisions is not just in the numbers, but in how they affect and are affected by the relationships we build throughout our lives. It's these connections that keep us honest, humble, and focused on what really matters, the art of reflection. In our fast-paced world, where notifications keep flashing and demands seem endless, we rarely take the time to examine our true relationship. With money, Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, would be shocked to see how we have lost the ability to stop and reflect on our financial choices. Think for a moment. When was the last time you sat down in silence to contemplate your financial decisions? We're not talking about checking statements or making budgets, but deep reflection on how money influences your choices, your relationships, and your peace of mind. This pause for reflection is not a luxury, it's a vital necessity. It is during these moments of contemplation that we can identify harmful patterns in our financial behavior, recognize when we are being dragged down by social pressure into unnecessary spending, or realize that we are sacrificing important relationships in the incessant pursuit of more money. The Stoics teach us that wisdom comes not from constant accumulation, but from a deep understanding of our motivations and values. When we take the time to reflect, we begin to distinguish between genuine desires and those imposed by consumer society. This practice of reflection allows us to develop a more accurate moral compass for our financial decisions. It's not just about how much we can spend, but how our spending aligns with our deepest values and long-term goals. Reflection also helps us keep perspective during times of financial turmoil. When we face losses or setbacks, this habit of contemplation allows us to see beyond the present moment and stay focused on what truly matters. Finally, dedicating time to reflection is an investment in our own peace of mind. It is during these quiet moments that we can assess whether our financial decisions are taking us closer to or further away from the life we truly want to live. To create this habit of reflection, take a few minutes every day away from digital distractions to examine your relationship with money. Ask yourself deep questions about your financial choices and your true motives. This simple but powerful practice can completely transform your relationship with money and, consequently, with life. Remember, true wealth is not just in the numbers, in your bank account, but in the clarity and alignment between your financial decisions and your deepest values. Success beyond the numbers. True success goes far beyond the numbers on your bank statement. When we talk about genuine wealth, we need to understand that it is born out of a deep process of developing expertise and the ability to deliver real value over time. Think of the great masters of Stoicism. They taught us that true wealth does not lie in the quantity of coins we accumulate, but in the quality of the impact we generate. Marcus Aurelius, even though he was the most powerful man in Rome, dedicated his time to developing wisdom and sharing knowledge. In today's world, we are bombarded with instant success stories, people who became rich overnight with cryptocurrencies or went viral on social media. But the truth is that this kind of success is rarely sustainable. It's like building a castle in the sand, impressive at first glance, but easily destroyed by the first wave. The path to true wealth requires dedication to the fundamentals. You have to develop real skills, build genuine relationships, and above all, create something that has lasting value for other people. There are no shortcuts to excellence. Patience is a fundamental virtue in this process. In a world that values immediate results, having the discipline to follow a longer, more sustainable path is almost an act of rebellion. But it is precisely this patience that allows us to build solid foundations for lasting success. True expertise doesn't develop in days or weeks, but over years of dedicated practice and constant learning. It is a process that requires the humility to recognize that there is always more to learn, and the courage to persist even when the results are not immediate. Remember, the real value you generate in the world cannot be measured in money alone. It manifests itself in the positive impact you have on people's lives, the trust you earn over time, and the legacy you will build for generations to come. Finally, focusing on fundamentals means building a solid foundation of knowledge, skills, and values that will remain relevant regardless of market changes or passing trends. It's about creating something that will stand the test of time, just as Stoic philosophy has done for over 2,000 years. The true measure of your success is not in your bank, but in the lasting value you create for the world. And that, unlike money, is something that no one can take away from you: the road to financial freedom. The journey to true financial freedom begins with a fundamental change of mindset. Stoic teachings show us that we need to develop a balanced relationship with both success and failure, treating both as temporary teachers on our journey. When we achieve financial victories, be it a promotion, a successful investment, or the growth of a business, we must cultivate humility. Success, as Marco Aurelio teaches us, should be used as a tool for growth, not as a pedestal for the ego. It is essential to remember that the wheel of fortune is always turning. In times of loss or financial difficulty, the Stoic perspective helps us maintain emotional balance. Like Zeno, who turned a financial disaster into an opportunity to discover his true vocation, we should see setbacks as opportunities to learn and grow. This balanced approach protects us from two dangerous extremes: the arrogance that often accompanies financial success and the despair that can arise during periods of difficulty. It's like an internal compass that keeps us on the right path, regardless of external circumstances. True financial freedom is not about having a certain amount of money, but about developing a healthy relationship with it. It's about building an inner fortitude that allows us to navigate both abundance and scarcity without losing our essence. The Stoics teach us that real wealth lies in our ability to maintain serenity regardless of the circumstances. This means creating a solid foundation of principles that guide us through both times of prosperity and hardship. Ultimately, the road to financial freedom is a journey of self-knowledge and personal growth. It's about developing the wisdom to use money as a tool for a better life, not as the ultimate goal of existence. When we achieve this balance, we discover that true wealth lies in our ability to maintain inner peace, regardless of our bank account balance. This perspective frees us from the emotional roller coaster that many people experience in their relationship with money, allowing for more conscious decisions in line with our deepest values. Financial freedom, then, is not a destination, but a way of walking with balance, wisdom, and serenity, regardless of the circumstances we encounter along the way. We have reached the end of this fascinating journey through the wisdom of the Stoics, and one thing is clear: our relationship with money defines much more than our assets. It shapes our peace of mind and our freedom. Just as Zeno transformed a financial disaster into one of the most powerful philosophies in history, you too can transform your relationship with money. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out on your financial journey or have already achieved stability. The principles we've discussed today can completely change your perspective. Remember, true wealth isn't just in the numbers in your bank account. It lies in your ability to maintain serenity in the face of life's ups and downs, in the wisdom of your financial choices, and above all, in the way you use your resources to create a meaningful life. The Stoics taught us that we can find freedom in any circumstance, as long as we maintain control over our emotional responses and decisions. Money should be your servant, not your master. If you apply the principles we've shared today, from automating good habits to cultivating meaningful relationships, you'll discover a new way of thinking about money, one that brings not only prosperity, but also peace of mind. And before closing, if you found this content valuable, don't forget to leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive more videos like this. Also share it with someone you think needs to hear this message. After all, as the Stoics teach us, the true value of knowledge lies in sharing it with others. See you in the next video, where we'll continue our journey of personal and financial development. Until then, remember, your relationship with money is a reflection of who you are, but it doesn't define who you can become.